といいかな。でもねちょっと最近心配なんです。だけどチョコレートちょっといいかな。でもねちょっと待ってちょまだネバだけどチョコレートちょっといいよね。でもねちょっと最近心配なんです。だけどチョコレートちょっといいよね。でもねちょっと待ってちょ進んでピーカモンやばいちょっとハードいっぱい頑張ったんです。だからちょっとハードだけお願いなんです。早くチョコレートちょっょうだい。僕チョコレート素敵なチョコレートちょっといいでしょ。だよねちょっとグッとハッピーで頑張ったんです。だからチョコレートちょっといいでしょ。だよねちょっとだけ食べても進んでピーカモン
Good evening and welcome to Not the Show.
And I'm Mondo.
How are you?
I'm good. How was your Thanksgiving, buddy?
It was an excellent Thanksgiving.
Fantastic.
How was your Christmas?
My Christmas was pretty good. How was your New Year?
Fabulous.
Cool.
Had a good time.
Excellent.
And President's Week?
President's Week was pretty cool.
Yeah, I went to California President's
I had a good President's Week. You? I saw pictures. How was your Valentine's Day?
Great. Lots of stuff.
Cool.
I don't know what else.
St. Patty's, I think, is all we have left, right?
St. Patty's. I didn't do anything with St. Patty's.
Me either. I did Friday. This past Friday, I made corned beef and cabbage.
Cool.
Yeah, because Angie was away. So... since the last time we've talked and done a show, since the last time we've done a show, Angie's graduated high school.
Wow.
Gotten a job, and all sorts of other stuff. So that's really actually about it.
Since the last time we did the show, I rearranged my basement. You see, there's now a new view behind. You can't see the TV anymore behind me.
I do see a new view behind you. I see it's like a kitchen.
Yeah. It's really just 10 feet further left than it used to be. The TV is like back over there still.
I can kind of see where it is.
Yeah. JoJo turned 6.
Damn.
Yeah. Boy, my life must be boring. I think that's it.
Your life's not boring, man. You went to California.
I did. I wanted to go somewhere warm for President's Week, and Jen wanted to go snowboarding, which is all she ever wants to do in the winter. So I was like, go. I'll just take Joe and go somewhere. So I did. I took Joe, and we flew to California, and we did amusement parks.
Now, what's the Disney in California?
There's Disneyland,
Okay.
and Disney California Adventure. Those are the two Disney parks, and we went to Universal Studios Hollywood.
Okay, but it's the land. So the Disney World is the one in Florida. I never get those two right.
World is in Florida, and it's bigger. There's 5 Disney parks in Florida. There's only 2 in California.
But they're all connected, right? Though it's
They
like they're all like within walking distance.
No, I think you have to.
Or train.
Yeah, the monorail or the tram, or
Right.
to get between. The ones in California, you can walk from one to the other. They're right across, like a plaza from each other, sort of.
So it's just like a scam to get you to buy more tickets.
It is. I had to have a 2-day park pass for Disney. Not 2-day, a 2-park pass for 1 day.
That frozen headless bastard.
But luckily for me, I have a cousin that works for Disney, the company. I'm not sure what she does,
Nice.
but she got me free. She got us both in for free to Disney, which saved me. I think it's $125 a ticket for Disney.
Does it involve like dressing up like a princess?
No.
I had a friend who worked for Disney, and she dressed up as a princess.
That sounds like a better job. I think my cousin works in one of the TV or movie departments, like in an office, though, not actually making TV or movies.
Right.
But it was fun. Joe had a good time.
That's good.
We walked a lot, and we went to Universal, which was cool too. His favorite ride is the Despicable Me Minion ride.
I think that would be my favorite ride too. I love those minions. I love them so
They're great.
much.
Their movie's coming soon.
I know. I can hardly wait.
Yeah. So it's been 3 months or 4 months since we did the show. The
4 months.
Last show we did
Yes.
was the winter movie game.
Yes.
It's about almost time to start the summer movie game, and we haven't.
I was about to say.
Yeah. So we haven't gone over the results of the winter movie game. We're going to do that next week because I think I'm going to get the gang together that was here for the that was on the show for the game itself, and we'll get them here and we'll just talk about the results. I haven't told anyone who won yet. I mean, I guess you could go look on your own, but it's fun to do it as kind of a surprise. We'll do that next week. That's Monday, this coming Monday, and unfortunately, then I'm going on vacation again. So. The week after that, we will not be able to do a show. I'll be on a boat somewhere down in the Caribbean.
Boats and hoes.
Yes.
That's nice though. Boat on the Caribbean.
It is. We're cruising. Cruising.
That's another Disney movie, right? That was like the Disney thing. They got at the park. They got like the boats in the Caribbean or something, right?
Yes, Pirates of the Caribbean.
With Johnny Depp.
That's right.
Star of the original 21 Jump Street.
He was also in the reboot.
Was he really?
He was at the very end.
I have not seen it yet.
He was like a criminal, and he was at the very end, and they were there to bust him. And he had a giant beard. He didn't really look like him. The other guy was in it too. Who was the other guy? Not Richard Grieco.
The cool guy.
The one who's got
DeLuise.
Right, DeLuise, the one who's got other actors and brothers in the business. So he was there too, and they were fighting each other, and the new 21 Jump Street people got to shoot them both and kill them both.
Aw.
Yeah.
Now, since we've last done a show, not only have they made a 21 Jump Street, there's also a 22 Jump Street.
Right, I have not seen that one.
And John explained it to me because I actually, I hadn't seen them, and I really have nothing against them. But I was complaining about how the name makes no sense. I'm like, you can't call it 22 Jump Street. That was the name of the building. And John explained to me, he's like, well, no, they moved like across the street. And I was like, oh, well, that makes perfect sense. The fuckers.
That's bizarre. Because in the first, it was like a church in this first one. I don't know if it was a church in the original TV series, but it was like, yeah, okay. So then they stuck to that.
On like Pizza Hut Church or something. I could be remembering it wrong. It's been a very long time.
Yeah, it has. It's been forever.
Not on Netflix.
What'd you think of Baby Metal, by the way?
I liked Baby Metal.
Right. So they're a Japanese.
Not what I expected when you first said Baby Metal.
They're a Japanese band, and they're kind of popular, and they're like it's like three little girls. They look like little girls. They're obviously not really little girls, and they
Right.
wear they wear little Catholic schoolgirl outfits, and they scream metal in Japanese on stage.
They've got that whole like anime look going.
Exactly. That's exactly what they do.
Yes. Anime.
They're fun though. So that was our opening song.
That's probably racist.
Probably.
That voice I just used is probably a little racist.
I'd say it's probably racist.
Shit. I'm such a racist.
So what about movies have you seen the last 4 months?
Man, my life's been pretty boring. I got a job with the post office.
Okay, you were like on probation before or something.
Yeah, sort of. It's like when you first get hired for the post office, it's like there is no promise that like you will have like any sort of permanent position. You're basically hired for like 360 days at a stretch, and if they like you, they keep you. They fire you for 5 days,
Okay.
and then they bring you back. And then if a permanent position opens, like if somebody retires or a new position is created, and they do their best to make sure that that does not happen, but it has to happen occasionally. They'll move people like seniority will actually get like real positions.
Okay.
And so like a month ago, I got a real position, which I don't have yet.
You still don't have it?
I still don't have it. The paperwork has not gone through. I did my training for the position, and I did my on-the-job training. I did my classroom training. I did my on-the-job training. Actually, I did most of my on-the-job training. I had 1 day of on-the-job training left, and they told me that I had to take my 5-day break, which is a nice way of saying we're firing you for 5 days.
Right.
So I took my 5-day break. I actually went back to work today.
Okay.
And technically, I still don't have a real full-time job.
It's crazy.
Now, the bummer about it's not really a bummer because I'll be making more money, better benefits, etc. But the bummer about the full-time job is when I was a part-time temp worker, not only was I working full-time, I was getting overtime
Okay.
as a part-time worker. Because they can abuse the shit out of the PSCs. I was a PSC. They can abuse the shit out of them, make them do anything. They try not to give you overtime, but sometimes they can't help it because they'd rather give the PSCs overtime because it costs them less than giving the regulars overtime.
Okay.
So now that I am a regular, sort of, now that I'm about to be a regular, when they get their shit straight, I'll have less overtime.
All right. Well.
But they won't be able to jerk me around, so that's
Yeah, you'll have a set schedule and stuff like that.
Absolutely. I have at the moment. I have Sundays, Mondays off. I have 2 days off in a row, which is rare in the post office, apparently.
Sure. Like having a weekend.
Exactly.
Just on the weekend.
And I don't need a weekend anymore. Angie's like out of school and she's working, so it's like any 2 days I have off in a row are like a weekend.
Yeah, that's great.
Wednesday, Thursday, that's my weekend.
Huh.
Tuesday I can be like, it's Friday. It'll get confusing after a while, but I can do that.
No, in some ways it's better. If you want to go away for the weekend, you get like weekday rates at hotel and air flights, and all the bars are less busy if you want to go out drinking.
That's true. I've been going to more places lately.
Cool.
Not necessarily bars, but places with alcohol.
Places with alcohol. That works.
And now I'm working closer to downtown. You remember downtown Winston-Salem?
Yes.
I'm right down there, so actually I'll probably start going out like every night. No, not every night. I'm old. But it'll be like easy to like, just be like, what, before I go home, I'm just gonna like stop and grab like a burger and a beer or something. Maybe meet up with some people. If there's anyone to meet up with.
That sounds good. So congratulations, eventually.
Thank you. Yes, eventually. When they get their shit together.
Yeah. Yeah, nothing's changed at my job. So I have no job news. No.
You're still the man, though.
I still work there. I saw AJ today.
Really?
Yes. He comes into
our friend AJ.
Yes. Good friend.
Yes.
His news is he is engaged.
He's engaged.
I think is no longer a surprise, so I can say that. And they bought a house. He closed on his house on Friday.
Really?
Yeah.
So he bought a different house because he had a house.
He's keeping the other house. He's gonna rent. He's gonna rent all the apartments. He's gonna keep one room. He's gonna keep one room for him to stay in because he's still working in Brooklyn for the moment. But he moved far enough away that he's gonna try and change his firehouse, I think, and he'll keep a bed in his house for when he has to stay in Brooklyn for 24-hour shifts and stuff.
Right. He should get somebody to pretend to be the landlord, and he should just pretend like he's renting a room, and just like talk about the landlord like the landlord is like some like shitheel or something, and just get an idea of what people like think of the the landlord.
The honest opinion of the renters.
Yes, just punk these people.
Who else I heard from today? I heard from Terrence today.
Really? How is Terrence?
He seemed good. I asked about the kid more than I asked about him because I guess that's what people with kids do.
Right.
They ask about their other kids.
Yeah.
Kid's good. He's good. He was calling about printing, but I think he's about to turn 40. Your buddy Terrence.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
That's impossible.
Yeah, he's turning 40.
I'm not even about to turn 40. All right. No. I'm not actually. Depending on how you look at it.
No,
I'm not about to turn 40. Damn.
Yeah, it's time flies, huh?
Yeah, everybody's old.
Yeah.
Ish. Everybody's old-ish.
I could call myself old. I do it all
You
the
don't
time.
look old. You look good, by the way. You look very good.
Thank you. I'm down 90 pounds at this point, so.
Nice.
Yeah, that's good. I'm still losing more. We'll see. We'll see when I stop. I don't know when I stop. Maybe I'll stop at 200 pounds.
I've actually been gaining a little weight. I need to turn that around.
Yeah, you do. You're still smoking too. Before you were smoking.
Yes.
Smoking.
But my new job, I'm not as physically active as I was, and so I'm feeling it start to creep back on. So I'm thinking about getting an elliptical.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I've been trying to do that kind of stuff too. I've been running on a treadmill.
See, my ankle is shot.
Mm-hmm.
So I figure, I get a shot in it like every 3 months now.
Yeah.
It's not cortisone, but it's something. It could be semen. Like, this is the first time I got a good look at what was in the syringe, and I'll say that's kind of what it looked like. I'm sorry if I'm disturbing anyone listening to the show that they're shooting semen into my ankle, but
Get in it.
and it's like he was just jamming this stuff in there, and the needle. I think he was mad at me or something this time because it didn't feel like that the past couple of times. I think this time he's mad at me.
Did he push it in and out and in and out?
Yeah. Yeah, sort of. Because, the first time I got the shot in the ankle, he just went in one location, like big long-ass needle, and he just, stuck it in, and he just kind of slowly, injected the stuff, and I barely noticed. I was just like, okay, rock on. It's cool. My ankle feels better. And last time, he pulled it out, except for the very tip. And he angled it, at a 45-degree angle, and, stuck it in someplace else, and I wasn't expecting that. And I was just like, whoa, what are you doing to me? And he's just like, we're going to get another area. And that didn't work as well as the first time.
Right.
So this time I was like, listen, I said, I don't think you know what you're doing. No, I didn't tell him that, but I kind of implied it. I was like, last time I said you did that thing and you got it in 2 areas. I said, it didn't feel as good as the first time. I said, I don't know if that's because the first time is always the best and it's never going to be as good. But just so you know. And he's just like, oh yeah. He's like, don't worry about it. He's like, this time we're going to do 3. I was like, 3. I watched him, and it was full of that white milky substance thing, and he just jammed it in there. And pulled it back out and stuck it in again, and I could feel the pressure of my ankle building up, and I was like, man, I made him mad by suggesting he didn't know what he was doing.
Huh.
He's a doctor.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah, and they're trying to get medical records from Coney Island Hospital from when I originally hurt my ankle.
Good luck with that.
The last weekend of July, because I can tell people when it was. I remember the date, and not because I remember the date that I hurt myself, but because the day that I hurt myself was the same day that Waterworld opened.
Okay.
So when people say, "Well, when did this happen?" I'm just like, "Give me a second," and I just go to like Google, and I'm just like, "Waterworld opening day," and I'm just like, "This is when it happened." It happened early that day because that night I went to go see Waterworld. I figured this was worse.
That's funny. Disney, speaking of Waterworld, Disney's still grasping on to that Waterworld thing. They still do the live Waterworld show.
Really?
Yeah.
There's a Waterworld show?
There is. You sit in like a stadium that's surrounding like what's supposed to be the atoll or whatever that's called, and they ride jet skis around, and they soak. If you're sitting in the first 10 rows, they soak you with the jet ski spray and the soak seats, and then they do lots of jumps, and there's explosions and fires, and then an airplane shoots from straight in front of you over the wall and lands in the water like a seaplane. It was pretty cool, but most of the people there don't even know where Waterworld is, I would guess.
I was about to say.
Yeah. So yeah, Ankle Medical Records and Disney still tied together by Waterworld.
Here, I'm gonna do a test. Angie, can you hear her?
Yeah.
Ange, you know what Waterworld is?
Huh?
Do you know what Waterworld is?
No.
Okay, there we go.
Take it.
She has no idea.
Of course not. You could tell her I said hello, by the way.
Joe says hello.
What is it? Hi.
It's a movie. You don't even need to know. That's the point, kind of.
Yeah.
We're just talking about how nobody knows what it is. I was just proving a point. I was proving Joe's point. Nobody knows what it is. Waterworld. To be honest, it's really not that terrible.
Oh no, it was an okay movie.
Yeah, it's just that it was hyped to the point that like no matter how good it was, it could never have lived up to that hype.
No.
And I mean, it definitely was not a great movie.
It
It was like bordering on okay.
Right, it was better than Postman, which was sort of like the next one that was sort of in that same vein, wasn't it?
I loved Postman, and the reason I loved Postman has nothing to do with the fact that I worked at the post office. The reason I loved Postman is because after Waterworld, I just assumed that everything Kevin Costner was going to do from that point on was going to be shit. So, Postman, I was like, well, this isn't a good movie, but it's a lot better than I thought it was going to be.
I don't know if I've ever seen all of Postman. I saw part of it, I'm sure. I don't know. While we're talking about movies, we have some movie news.
Man, we probably missed a bunch of movie news.
I'm sure we missed tons. I mean, Interstellar was great. Saw that.
Oh yeah, that was a thing.
I don't know what's happened. Oh, I guess I could look. Actually, I could probably look at the movie game list. Maybe we'll talk about movies that we didn't talk about next week during the movie game.
Okay.
How many of the movies we actually saw on the list and whether they were any good.
Right.
But so the other movie news, the biggest stories that from the last 4 months that I kept in our list of topics, was like the reboot. They're talking about rebooting Ghostbusters, and it's going to be starring Melissa McCarthy, Kristen Wiig, and Kate McKinnon, and Leslie Jones. So there's going to be 4 women Ghostbusters, and that was like huge news for a few days there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's coming out on July 22nd of next year, 2016.
Really? Oh, 2016.
Yeah.
Somehow I don't know, I lost a year and I was like, wait, that's like months away. But okay, no, yes. How would they do that?
Yeah. Crazy.
Is it a gimmick?
I don't know. I mean,
or is it just like? I mean, I'd be mad if it was a gimmick.
So would I. And then talking about doing sequels and the sequels having men in them again. And they're funny. These are funny women. I don't have any issue with them themselves, but I have an issue with the fact that why are they doing it this way? Why not just cast it? Even if it's some men and some women, I'm not really sure what they were going for. So.
Right, or even if it was like all women. I mean, like, if they were just like, you know what? It's like we had the script and all these were guy parts, but like we were just really impressed with all these women. so it just happens to be women. You know, I'd be kind of like, I don't know. It feels gimmicky. I mean, I'm going to watch it.
Yeah, I mean they're like friends. They've been in Bridesmaids together. It's like they picked like Melissa McCarthy maybe, who's probably the most famous, or Kristen Wiig. They're the two most famous, and then they added people that they thought should be in the same movie with them. I don't know. I don't really know what to make of it. The only other story I kept in the list was there's all kinds of Star Wars. There was all kinds of Star Wars news for the episode 7. We never watched the trailers. Have the trailer. Maybe we'll watch the trailer right before we take a break. And in the trailer, there's a.
We never watched the trailer?
I don't think so. I don't think the trailer was out.
I know. You're absolutely right. We must not have.
Yeah, so maybe we'll play it now, and then we can briefly talk about the new lightsaber and the controversy about that. And then they also announced the first standalone Star Wars movie will come out in 2016 as well. And I don't remember what it's going to be called, but we don't have much information on that either. So let me play the trailer. Let's see if I can.
What's this trailer?
If I can figure out how to do that now, because I haven't done this in a while.
I'm gonna pretend like I haven't seen the trailer before.
Okay.
I just wiped it from my mind.
Okay. It's on the
Star Wars coming out?
It's on.
You must be shitting me.
How do I zoom? Oh, I guess I can zoom in by pinching like that. Let's see. One more. Too much. Okay.
That's always a terrible guess.
Oh.
Dude, really? I'm gonna watch the Star Wars trailer and you're farting?
I'm gonna play the trailer now.
Okay.
And I'll switch it so it doesn't switch camera views. It'll just be my camera view.
Okay, yeah.
There has been an awakening. Have you felt it? The dark side and the light.
So they don't give us much because it's just a teaser, right? Like
right.
The trailer. And this is the controversial
Dark side.
moment here. There.
Yeah.
So, it opened up this. There we go. So okay, there's this big like nonsense controversy. It's not really nonsense, I guess. It's like, what is the point of the? Is that the hilt portion? Is that what you call the hilt of a sword there?
Yes, so it's kind of like a claymore of sorts. Now, one of my new D&D friends, this girl named Ty, she's a very big Star Wars fan. She's an excellent Star Wars tattoo that is like so obscure, it's not even funny. It's like a Jedi Knight of some race, like that. There's not a character. It's just this race has been described in the books, and now she has a tattoo of a Jedi of this like. Anyway, point being is we were talking about this at D&D at one point, shortly after the trailer came out, and she kind of like broke it down for me like a little bit, and like how it's like it's in the expanded universe, which they have like is now non-canon.
Okay.
It's like the entire expanded universe. All the people who care about things like this, who have been reading all these books, and thinking that this stuff is all canon for Star Wars. It is not.
Right. Yeah.
They snatched it away.
It's not Lucas anymore, but yeah, they took away everything.
But there was a sword like this somewhere in the expanded universe, and she kind of said, no, this is like absolutely cool, and she gave me reasons as to why, and she convinced me. I mean, I'm just not sure if it's because, like, how am I going to argue with her?
I guess so.
But, I mean, she convinced me. I'm going to ask her again when I see her this week. I'm going to ask her again to explain this to me, like as if I were a child. And I'm going to report back.
I mean, but it's the interesting question is, like, when the two lightsabers are touching, are they kind of sticky? Or could you slide up and chop at someone's hand, right? And if they're sticky and you can't do that, then what do you need the cross guard? Is that called the cross guard? What do you need the cross guard for if there's no way to slide up a sword and and would they get cut straight? Would they cut right off those things if you cut through them?
See, the thing that bothers me is, I don't know how sticky the lightsabers are. It could just be that they seem sticky because, like, they're pushing against each other, but you might be able to slide down a lightsaber and potentially cut someone's hand off. The thing that worried me the most was the way most Jedi post, the original Star Wars seem to wield their lightsabers. I mean, they do a lot of swinging around, like switching grips and stuff.
Yep.
And I mean,
behind the head. How do you do that behind the head thing without getting crossed?
Right. Exactly. So it's like, not only, so it looks badass,
yes,
but it's like there has to be an entirely different way of fighting with that thing, because yeah, exactly. There's no way you're gonna like do some of the other cool stuff that the Jedi did in previous movies.
Yeah.
You could probably have the Star Wars fight from the first Star Wars.
Probably. They kind of just stand still and hit each other.
Yeah, hit you.
Maybe you could shut it off the way when you have a double-sided lightsaber like Darth Maul's, you could shut off the bottom half.
Right, and you probably can.
Probably.
Because I mean, doesn't like just watched it like a minute ago. Doesn't it like kind of come out like afterwards? It's like he lights the blade and then it's like out the sides.
Yeah, I think it does. I also kind of like the way it's stuttery and not quite as
yes,
not quite as well made as and there was a comment about that, like Johnny Ive from the designer from Apple, was talking to J.J. Abrams and told him he thought it should kind of look not as polished. The blade would look cool if it was choppy. And he actually did it for the movie. Just a weird thing.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Johnny Ive, man, go figure.
Mm-hmm. I do mean.
But the what was I gonna say? Lightsabers, blades.
I like the new X-wing.
Five.
The new X-wings look cool to have a little bit different wing.
Yep, I like that new droid a little bit.
Uh-huh.
A little bit.
Yeah.
BB something.
You watch Clone Wars at all?
Man, Clone Wars. This is something I could dedicate a month's worth of episodes to Clone Wars. Clone Wars is possibly the best Star Wars since Empire Strikes Back.
It's definitely good. I've been watching it with Joe, and
I mean, it's dark. You're watching it with Joe?
Yeah.
Man, it gets darker. I don't know where you're at, but it gets darker. I would, if I had the money or the know-how or any of these things, I would re-edit Clone Wars and Revenge of the Sith, and I would just replace Hayden Christensen, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
I would replace him with cartoon Anakin, looking just like he is. Like he would be a cartoon. And the movies would be so much better, even with the same dialogue. I love Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Clone Wars is the shit. And it's hella dark.
That's the one that's currently on. That's the one that's currently on, right?
No, that's Rebels.
Okay, that's what I've been watching with Joe. I've been watching Rebels with Joe. I haven't watched.
Okay. Okay, yeah. Clone Wars is kind of dark.
Yeah.
I mean, it gets darker towards the end. I mean, so that was my warning there. It's like, that might be a little dark for Joe, especially once you start getting towards the end. But Rebels is definitely made more for younger kids.
Right. It's on the kids.
So it's like, I haven't seen them yet, but like, yeah. I mean, I haven't seen them yet, so I don't know how dark they may or may not get. But
those are good, too.
Clone Wars is dark.
Yeah. JoJo's seen the prequels, so he's seen the end of Revenge of the Sith, and that was some dark shit.
Yeah.
I mean, they're silly movies. They're terrible movies. First of all, I hate terrible. There's this podcast called The Incomparable, and the guy who does it is generally tech podcasty stuff, but they did a rewatch of all 6 of the current Star Wars movies, and they had, after each movie they did they talked about each movie for as long as the movie, 2.5 hours about each movie, and when they got to the prequels, they tore them apart so bad that I don't know that I could ever watch them again. Not that they were good enough to rewatch a lot, but they tore them apart. I mean, especially the last one. I mean, by the time they got to the last one, they were so checked out of caring at all that there was no reason to watch it. It was very interesting.
And the last one is like, according to some people, the last one is the best of the prequels.
Yeah, I mean, it ends it. I mean, I guess the problem is that the biggest problem they had with it is, we know where Darth Vader has to end up at the end of that movie, right? We know where he has to, and his reasoning for getting to that point was ridiculous in the prequels. There was no good reason. Everything turns on a dime, and everything he changes, and with Padme, there's just all kinds of terrible stuff with the girl and the babies, and I mean she tells him the babies died right before she dies, right? And then he gets upset, but he just murdered all the Padawans or whatever all the kids,
every youngling.
All the young ones. He murdered them all like 5 minutes before that, and then he just believes. He just believes that Palpatine, no matter what Palpatine tells him, he just believes him. And they never established like a relationship.
Knowing that this guy has been like the hugest deceiver.
Right. If they had at some point in the 3 movies established that Palpatine was some kind of father figure for him, or they had some sort of relationship that would justify him believing him and doing anything he said. I mean, he does anything he says. Some of it's just ridiculous. That's all.
There is an excellent fan theory, and it's a fan theory that like makes so much sense. Like people are just like, well, obviously that is what George Lucas meant, and that is like Anakin's like he's got no arms, or he's got no arms because he's got a robot arm. He's got his other arm's gone, his legs are gone, and he was on fire, and he's full of hate and anger, blah blah blah, whatever. And Ben Kenobi just leaves him there to die, which is kind of fucked up.
Oh yeah, that was
Yeah, it's like you were like my brother, bro. So like suffer. I mean, I understand being angry at the guy, but like put him out of his misery. Anyway, the theory is the reason that Padme lost the will to live is because Palpatine said that he knew the secret of living forever and whatever, and making the power over death. So the theory goes is that he sucked the life force out of Padme and gave it to Anakin so that Anakin could live and become his Darth Vader.
Wow.
And everybody's just like, and I agree, it's like an awesome theory. It's a pretty cool theory. I mean, I'll have to find it and share the link with you. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. But then there are the people who say, well, right, that's exactly what happened. Like, duh, that's what Lucas meant. And I'm just like, no! I'm like, hell no. If Lucas read this, he'd be like, oh, thank God someone saved my ass. Because I am sure that the way Lucas wrote it was like, she lost the will to live. Instead of having Yoda and Obi-Wan going and holding her hand and petting her head, they put her in there with Herbie the robot with the catcher's mitt Boo-bah. Boo-bah. The hell, man.
Yeah.
I don't want to have kids in the future because that shit looks, or in the past, in a galaxy far away, because that shit just looks stupid and scary. But the theory is great. It's a great theory.
Yeah, it's definitely better than what they gave us. They gave us nothing.
Right. But I guarantee you, though, that was not Lucas's intention. If Lucas is reading this theory somewhere now, he is like, holy shit, I should have hired this guy. I will find the link, and I'm gonna send it to you.
All right. Let's take a minute break.
Yeah.
I'll play another song, and when we get back, we'll talk a little bit about TV and books, and then we'll call it a show.
Cool.
All right, we'll be right back.
That's what I believe that every elected individual that you can believe what he said. Well, it's a repressive government. How many people march if they go to... We go forward to defend freedom. The government... Just almighty ocean return. I am no longer afraid. I was too blind to see. Now what you stolen from me? You wanna know why I feel so horrified? I let my innocence die. You wanna know why I can't be pacified? You made me marry something I won't be sleeping tonight. I only wanted the missing me. Now I've been labeled a renegade. It seems so clear now what I must do. You're no immortal, I won't let them define you. You as the new Messiah, define you. Believe in some demented man. You wanna know why? It seems the passion's died. We're only living this lie. You wanna know why? My will's been fortified. You made me alone again. Good luck sleeping tonight. I only wanted the missing me. Now I've been labeled a renegade. It seems so clear now what I must do. You're no immortal, I won't let them define you. You as the new Messiah, define you. Believe in some demented man. All my devotion return. I am no longer afraid. I was too blind to see. I was just lying at the afraid I was too blind to see how much you stolen from you as the new Messiah. Believe in some demented man.
Disturbed. GFI.
What was that?
That was the beginning of Baby Metal again.
Okay. I thought that might be Disturbed.
It was.
Like, I'm not a big fan. I don't have a problem with them. But, I mean, it definitely had that sound.
Yeah.
Like that Disturbed sound.
Yeah, they're heavy. They're loud. So, some TV stuff. We've got Twin Peaks coming back. I'm pretty sure we talked about that before we took a break there.
We did. I've been hearing that there's a rumor that maybe that's not as set in stone as we were led to believe.
Yeah, Lynch mentioned something that there may be trouble. But, Showtime has a website up, and they've advertised it a bit. So I think that whatever it is will fix itself. Maybe it's going to be more delayed than they thought.
Or we'll be allowed to rebel.
One or the other.
And we can totally burn fucking Showtime to the ground.
I mean, because the cast members have started announcing that they're coming back, including Colt McLaughlin and some of the others.
What about I could have rattled her name off the tip of my tongue 20 years ago. Yeah.
I don't know. I think
no. Is that who I'm thinking of? No. I'm thinking of
Lara Flynn Boyle.
Yes, I was about to say the one who married Jack Nicholson. Because she didn't come back for Fire Walk with Me. They replaced her with Moira Kelly.
That's right.
So I'm wondering who's going to come back.
I don't know. They haven't announced all of them. So don't know.
What about Bobby Briggs? Is he coming back? Do we know?
I would be willing to bet that Bobby Briggs and Mike and yeah, who was the motorcycle? The guy
James Hurley.
I would be willing to bet they will all be back because they have no careers. What are they? I guess there's going to be no. How do they continue where they left off without Bob? Because Bob's dead.
He is.
Yeah.
I mean, Bob could just have a new face.
I guess. I mean, like you said, they did it with Lara Flynn Boyle and Moira Kelly. So
maybe Bob will look like Cooper now.
Maybe.
Have you been watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and stuff?
Yeah.
And what about that other one? The one with the chick from the Captain America movies?
Yeah, I've been watching that too.
That was awesome.
They're both good.
But let me get back to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Kyle MacLachlan because he played a major character towards the end of it. He's Sky's father. Spoiler alert, people. Now, what if they made Dale Cooper, the real Dale Cooper, look like, he's supposed to look like he looks like Dale Cooper, just a little older, and then they'll have Bob now look like Cooper, but he'll look kind of crazy like he looked in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I can handle that.
I suppose so. Why not?
Maybe the original Bob, it was just some dude he possessed, the guy that we know as Bob, and he just took on that form after living in him for 25 years or however long.
I like it. Sounds plausible.
I can handle that.
Me too. Speaking of superhero TV shows, I also like Arrow and Flash. Again, it's great this season, both.
I've seen one episode of Arrow, and I need to see more episodes. Not Arrow, Flash. Mm-hmm. I need to see more episodes of Flash because I was not impressed, and I immediately recognized this might not have been the episode to start with. Or it just might be because I really don't like DC heroes, generally speaking.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody likes Batman in the movies and stuff, and even in the comics, because Batman is kind of badass. Superman movies are always fun. I've never been a fan of the comics. Green Arrow and the Arrow show. I liked Arrow. I've been watching Arrow. I think last time we talked, I might not have been watching Arrow yet.
Maybe you mentioned you were starting or about to start.
Yes, and I really like Arrow.
Good.
Anyway, so I did see one episode of Flash, and I was kind of like, eh. But
It's definitely a different vibe than Arrow. Arrow's much darker. I'd let JoJo watch Flash, but I'd never let him watch Arrow.
Part of my problem also, I just realized now, with the one episode of Flash that I saw, is that I could be spoiling stuff too. I don't even know, but the dude apparently is the Reverse Flash, perhaps, and the guy that Flash works with, and I don't know, he helps him with his powers or something. which helped him to understand him. He was the older brother from Scrubs. He was like JD's older brother.
Yes. Yeah, he was.
So, part of my problem may be that I have trouble taking him seriously,
Okay.
which is why I really need to watch more Flash before I give it like a fair assessment. Because I'm just like, I see him and I'm just like, I just think him, like, hey, little brother, like, and like, trying to drown himself in a bathtub
Right.
with beer and piss. So, I might need to give this some more chances.
Yeah, it's good. It's good if you can get into it. It's good.
But Arrow is definitely kick-ass.
Yeah.
And the Marvel TV shows are coming to Netflix soon.
Yeah, Daredevil's Daredevil's next.
Yeah. I hope it's good. It'll be good.
Yeah, I think I don't know, the trailer looks okay.
They know what they're doing.
They do.
Let's hope.
Yeah. And the last bit of TV news we have, I mean, aside the fact that I watch 100 shows and I like a lot of them this season, X-Files is looking to come back to Fox for a limited run. It said no one's sure how many episodes will air, but according to a rumor put forth by Daily Mail, the numbers look likely to be 6 episodes. The person writing the article was hoping they would get more like 8 or 9. But that's interesting. And maybe
How cool is 6?
The company definitely said he wanted to be in it. He said,
I would be cool with 6.
He said, we're too old, we don't have the energy for a full season.
Plus that's the kind of show, I think, we may have discussed this once before, but I may be one of the few people on the planet who thought that I Want to Believe was a pretty good X-Files movie, sort of.
Yeah.
I thought it was an excellent episode. The second X-Files movies was an excellent X-Files episode. I don't think it was movie-worthy, but it was a great episode, especially if you broke it up into I don't know, like a mini-series, like a 2-part, 2-hour mini-series. I Want to Believe on TV would have been very fantastic. People would have loved it. They just didn't like it as a movie.
Yeah, I think I agree. I thought it was okay.
Yeah, so I think if they did something like what they do with Sherlock, like a shorter thing with a definite arc to it.
Sure.
I think that would work very well.
Yeah, I'm into it. I mean, and I would have to rewatch everything else up to that point, which is fun too.
Is he coming back to Twin Peaks?
Oh, I don't know. That's a good question though. He was one of the best parts of the terrible second half of the second season.
He was, absolutely.
That's another podcast. I've been listening to a Twin Peaks rewatch podcast, and they're tearing apart these later episodes in season 2. It's hard to listen to sometimes.
I started listening to that, and then work got funny. I don't listen to podcasts at work anymore. I really can with the stuff I'm doing now. So it's very sad for me.
Yeah.
But I was starting to. Now I kind of want to listen to it because I would love to listen to them. The later episodes.
Yeah, they're brutal. It's funny, but it's brutal. Brutal to listen to. They're pointing out things that I never noticed or that I just ignored, and it's like, wow, that sounds terrible when you hear it. All right, let's switch over to Stephen King news, which is one of my favorite things. So
sure,
talk about it on the show. He announced a compilation book, like one of those collections, called Bizarre Bad Dreams. That'll be out November 3rd. The Jaunt, which is a short story from one of the other compilations, is going to...
Skeleton Crew.
Yeah, it's been optioned to be a movie. Published in 1985. James Franco is going to star as the lead in 11/22/63.
Which, at first when I heard that, I went all like Ben Affleck on that shit. It's terrible. And then after I calmed down, in a minute, I was like, actually, it's probably not bad.
Yeah, I think he'll be all right.
He's not a bad actor.
No. I mean, he plays goofy roles. If he can get away from being silly.
Yeah.
Why not? One for the Road has been optioned for a movie. One for the Road was from... I don't even remember where it's from.
I'm not even sure I remember. Definitely recognize the name of the story, and I don't remember. Was it in the Full Dark No Stars, or?
It might have been. I didn't write it in the article I posted on it, so I don't have it.
Bastards.
But that's okay. And I guess the last bit is Finders Keepers is coming out as the sequel to Mr. Mercedes. That also was a release date was also announced for that, which I don't have in front of me. That's Tucky. That's terrible. That's terrible reporting.
Terrible.
June 2nd. June 2nd. That one's soon.
I really liked Mr. Mercedes. That was an excellent read.
Yeah, it was good, and there's going to be a third. So that's the second of third is about to come out. They're starting to shoot It, the It reboot.
Still not sure how I feel about that one.
They're also starting to shoot the Stand reboot with Matthew McConaughey as Randall Flagg.
McConaughey.
And the Stand will be 4 movies. 4 movies.
Wow.
4 theater movies. I think his original plan was to do 3 movies, and then the studio, he was going to squeeze it into 2. We talked about that.
Yeah, I think we did.
Right, how he was going to squeeze it into 5 or 6 hours, and we thought that was way too short. And the studio said to him, you could have up to 4 movies if you want. And he was like, why not? And so he took it to do for 4 movies.
Because that's the way to go.
Yes.
And it's like almost so now we can pretend like The Stand was a trilogy, and they took the last book and split it into 2 movies.
Yes.
Because that's also the thing they do now.
Yes, they do that a lot now. And that's all the Stephen King news I have.
I want to talk about The Hobbit for like half a minute.
Sure, we can do that. That came and went, right? And
it came and went, and I enjoyed it immensely. I had a good time watching it. At the same time, I fucking hated that shit. This is like the absolute opposite of like everything that like big readers like us like hate about movies. It's like we're just like, oh, they had to leave out, and we understand. Like people like you and I understand. Well, yes, you couldn't include everything from the movies, but it makes us a little angry sometimes, especially if we have favorite scenes.
Yes.
Now, some fools gave Peter Jackson, who I still like, and like I said, I enjoyed watching the movie. I'm not going to deny that. I had fun watching this movie. But they gave him the ability to like do The Hobbit in 3 movies, which was adequate, more than adequate for the material.
Mm-hmm.
There's stuff that probably should have been cut out from the book just because I don't think it would work as well on a screen. And maybe he agreed because some of that stuff wasn't there, but he included so much nonsense that like didn't even belong there.
Yeah.
Like at all. He just invented like characters, like big characters, like Kate from Lost.
Yes.
The hell? And she was in love with Killy.
Right.
They were in love, which I loved. I did not like it in like the previous movies. I was just like, this is irritating the crap out of me. But I thought it was very cool in the 3rd movie. But at the same time, as like someone who just didn't need that much shit change, like part of me was like, I am so down with like this romance. I'm shipping them. But at the same time, I was just like, it makes me so angry.
Yep, I know exactly how you feel.
And those dwarves, man, those dwarves didn't march into that fucking like dungeon like in the 2nd one. They didn't go into the mountain and like fuck with Smaug. They all hid outside while Bilbo did that shit alone. And Smaug was just like, fuck you all, I'm gonna burn a town down.
Right.
They weren't that brave about that shit. I'm gonna let it go.
Yeah, you're gonna have to.
Because I also had fun watching the movie. I enjoyed it immensely. I thought it was a lot of fun. I think that if I had never read the book, I would have thought it was like a masterpiece.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, I have read the book, so all right, I'm done being angry about that.
That's cool. Forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, I found an excuse for you to come visit. I know you're working now and you can't ever visit, but it's still,
No, actually, it'd probably be easier for me to visit once I get like my leave and stuff. It's gonna be pretty cool.
So the Marvel movies, right? Avengers 2 is about to come out,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to avoid most of the trailers. Right? I've seen that first teaser trailer where we get to see the Hulk killer armor on Iron Man.
Right.
And so I saw this announcement, and when Return of the King came out, we went, you and I, to a marathon of the Lord of the Rings movies, and we watched the 2 extended versions of the first 2 movies, and then the theatrical release of the 3rd movie, and we had all in a row. It was a lot of hours. So in several AMC theaters around the country, they are going to be showing the entire arc of Marvel movies leading to Avengers: Age of Ultron, including Iron Man, Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 2, then Thor, then Captain America 1, then the Avengers, then Iron Man 3, then Thor 2, then Captain America 2, then Guardians of the Galaxy, and then Avengers: Age of Ultron. It is a 29-hour Marvel movie marathon.
Oh my God.
All 11 of the, what do they call them? Series 1 and 2. Is it Series 1 and 2?
Oh, phases.
Right.
Phase 1 and Phase 2, right.
Phase 1 and Phase 2. And I thought that would be just insane. How do you sit in a movie theater for 29 hours?
Oh my God. My God. People will die.
Yeah. And I was like, Mondo's got to come. We have to go. April 29th.
God.
April 29th, $65 a person for all the movies.
That's probably a bargain. It's like that works out to like less than like $6 a movie, isn't it?
It's just under $6 a movie.
Yeah, that's a great deal.
It is, even if you just stay for like a handful of them, or if you come and go. I don't let you come and go. You come for the ones that you love and leave for the others. That would ruin it for me, but I wonder if they let you do that.
I bet you they probably would.
That's like you got to eat movie theater food for a full day and a half.
That would kill somebody.
But it sounds awesome anyway.
Like after like 16 hours in a movie theater, you're guaranteed to like have diabetes and high blood pressure. Like you could walk in there healthy as a horse, and after 16 hours of like eating nothing but like movie theater stuff, yeah, you're diabetes and high blood pressure.
Oh yeah, because eating nothing but hot dogs and popcorn, and the salt would just kill anyone.
Yes.
Eating all that salty crap food all day.
Wonder if they put in a salad bar.
I don't know, but I don't know. Did they serve? Did we eat like turkey legs at the? I thought that was part of the when we first paid for that movie, that marathon. There was supposed to be some kind of food, but maybe I don't remember there.
Yeah, it was like an orc feast. It was kind of like it was like turkey legs, like barbecue type stuff.
Yeah, stuff you get at like a Ren fair.
Right. The orc feast.
Mm-hmm.
Bits of Hobbit.
Yeah, so it doesn't say anything about special foods, but AMC and Regal Cinemas are both doing it.
God bless them.
It says Lord of the Rings fans are lightweights. That's funny stuff.
There was something like that recently. I don't remember what it was, but I mean, I saw something like that, and I thought for like a minute, I was like, maybe I'll do that, and then I was like, no, I can't handle that. And I don't remember what it was, but I mean, even though I don't know if I can handle this, I mean, this is definitely something I might be interested in doing, because to the best of my knowledge, it hasn't been done before.
I don't think so.
This is like 29 hours of like watching nothing but Marvel movies. That's like 29 hours. Like you see Stan Lee like on average like once every 2.5 hours.
That's right.
He had a cameo at the end of Big Hero 6.
I know he did. I saw it.
I saw it for the first time yesterday.
Yeah, you got to watch through the credits.
Yeah.
You see the movies for the first time, or just through the credits for the first time?
Just through the credits the first time.
Oh, okay.
Like John called me back into the house. And he's like, "There's this whole scene with like Fred in like a secret room." He's like, "We didn't watch it yet. Get in here." So I came in. I was like, "What?" Because I recognized Stan Lee on the wall.
Yeah.
I was just like, "Hey, there's Stan Lee's cameo," and then he had more of a cameo. Spoiler alert, folks.
Mm-hmm. I love it, by the way.
Yeah, John and Jesse saw it for the first time yesterday, and they enjoyed it immensely.
Good. Jojo likes it. He watches it all the time.
Yeah, I love it too.
And Guardians. He'll watch Guardians anytime I want him to. Anytime I put it on too.
Cool.
Yeah.
Those are two awesome movies.
So I think we drilled through it all, and we'll save some more stuff. We'll talk next week.
Next week we'll wrap up the movie game, season 1.
We'll talk about some of the movies that came out through the movie game because we may have seen some of them.
Yep. And we can start talking about the summer movie game. We can start because some of those are coming out soon, so we might need to start prepping.
And we need to decide what to do about Star Wars. Because I'm afraid it's just going to beat anything that comes out. So I'm not sure how to deal with Star Wars. I don't know. Anyway.
I might have some solutions. We'll talk about it next week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I mean, you just bet because you could just bet $100 on Star Wars, and then what if someone else also says no? I'm betting $100 on Star Wars too. I guess you can't because you immediately say 100. And then what? And then no one can bid with you. That's just the first person that says 100. That's why it's troublesome.
Right. And the winter movies, I mean, they're not as big as the summer movies.
No.
So on a level playing field, the winter movie game is awesome on a level playing field. I think, yes, Star Wars would definitely unlevel that playing field.
Yeah.
It's very possible that Star Wars, you could bid $100 on Star Wars, and like you said, you could just win or come close to winning.
Yeah. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure something.
Yeah. All right, so that's the end of the show for this week. You can find everything at nottheshow.com, all the old episodes and this week's episode. You can follow us on Twitter at nottheshow, although we haven't posted much lately because we haven't done any shows. And you can follow me at Ojoey and Mondo